Okay, well, hello, morning. Welcome to our February webinar. We'll get started now. Today, we officially launch our new service, FileCatalyst Spaces. My name is Elton Canero, and I am the Director of Strategic Partnerships and Cloud Services here at FileCatalyst. With me on this webinar is John Kaczewski, our President and Co-founder. John and I have worked with our developers on Spaces over the last few months to bring you a service with many features. John will demo some of these features today after I bore you with all my PowerPoint slides. I do promise to keep it short so we have more time for the fun part.
Hello, everybody.
Hey. All right, let's get started. If you have a question, please enter them in the questions section of the GoToWebinar, and we will address them. So, what is FileCatalyst Spaces? FileCatalyst Spaces is a web-based file transfer service that brings our fast file transfer technology into a fully managed cloud hosting platform. FileCatalyst Spaces is built to solve today's issues around moving big data across your local network and the cloud. Here are a few reasons why you should sign up for FileCatalyst Spaces. You can turn hours into minutes with our fast file transfer technology. FileCatalyst Spaces is a pay-as-you-go service with no contracts. Spaces is a fully managed service that has no hardware requirements. You can easily create shareable online folders for users, as well as Spaces offers the visibility to help you keep track of your transfers and who has access to them. Spaces also allows you to create easy-to-use, highly customizable file transfer portals for your organization. So why did we develop Spaces? As organizations move towards operational expenditure and consumption-based services, we saw a gap in our portfolio that needed to be filled. With the launch of Spaces, we have now filled this gap. So here are some of the major file transfer workflows supported by Spaces. The first one is the ability to share large files via an email. By sending a direct download link to the recipient, the file is sent to the recipient opposed to attaching it directly to the email. The recipient clicks on the link to download your files. Features like expired downloads, password protection can also be enabled on this workflow. Another workflow is the ability to create file transfer Dropbox portals, where users and your customers can easily send you large files via customized brandable web portal. Your clients will be able to fill in a custom upload form to capture all the necessary details for that upload. Another workflow is our web-based collaboration folders. This allows for faster file exchange and collaboration. With this workflow, you can mimic workflows similar to Dropbox and so on. Users can share files that is on their cloud storage or invite users to send them files. The last workflow that we cover under Spaces is the ability to use Spaces as a data migration tool for both public and private cloud storage. Spaces supports many cloud storage providers, including S3, Google Cloud Storage, Wasabi, Backblaze V2, Azure Blob, and more. You can migrate any amount of data to the cloud storage of your choice. Let's take a look at the pricing. So how much does it cost? FileCatalyst Spaces works with a FileCatalyst cloud server, which comes with your own dedicated and private cloud storage. If you want to use your own local storage, that's possible as well, since FileCatalyst Spaces can connect to any FileCatalyst direct server available on the internet. There is a one-time sign-up fee of $100, which we'll be waiving during the beta stage. This fee is charged upfront when you sign up for Spaces. Spaces costs only $10 a user a month, with 6 cents per every gigabyte transferred and 1 cent per every gigabyte stored on the cloud. All major costs are waived when connecting to your on-premise local FileCatalyst direct server. Other options you can add to your Spaces include public upload portals, anonymous access for $20 a month, our hot folder for automated transfers at $50 per month. We also have API support, to submit jobs into Spaces at $50 a month as well. And we also have REST APIs for management as well. Let's look at some of the costing factors that affect how you may get billed with Spaces. With the FileCatalyst server, it depends whether you'll be using our cloud FileCatalyst server or bringing your own. With cloud storage, will you use our cloud storage or connect to your own? User count. How many registered users will you have? What features would you like to enable? As well as, will you need advanced support or not? Let's look into these features a bit more. With the FileCatalyst server, you have the option of using our FileCatalyst cloud server, where you only pay for the data transfer based on our pricing of 6 cents per gig. This is a fully managed FileCatalyst server that we host in our data centers. You can bring your own FileCatalyst server, and we support a FileCatalyst server running on your through the cloud marketplace or for our billings on Azure or AWS. When you're using that server, you only pay for the compute fees on that cloud provider. There are FileCatalyst per hour fees that you pay as well through the marketplace. And this is hosted under your own cloud account. So you don't pay for any data transfer fees to us on Spaces. You can bring your own perpetual license. Again, this can be an on-premise license or a license that's running under the bring your own license models that we have on the cloud. Again, this is you own this license. You don't pay for any additional data transfer fees, and it's hosted on your network, whether it's a local network or your cloud network. We also have our FileCatalyst per gigabyte license. And again, this can be hosted on-premise or in the cloud. And with this license, you're paying for how much data you transfer to that license. There is no additional fees coming to us, so you don't pay the 6 cents per gig when using your per gigabyte license, but you do pay whatever the per gigabyte transfer fees are based on that license that you have. When it comes to cloud storage, you have the ability to use our cloud storage is managed by FileCatalyst, where you pay for data stored. We do have a minimum of 1 terabyte that's billed monthly. So at 1 cent a gig, you're looking at $10 a month. You have unlimited storage pool between all your users on your instance. So there is no cap of what the maximum storage is. You can use as much data as you wish, but there will be a minimum charge of 1 terabyte. If you wish to bring your own storage, we support various cloud storage providers. And this way, you bring your own cloud provider using your access key, secret key, and endpoint. You can mount your bucket within the Spaces dashboard, and you're paying your cloud provider based on how much storage you use. This can work in collaboration with our FileCatalyst cloud server. So you can use our FileCatalyst cloud server with your own storage. So in this case, you'll be only paying for the data transferred, and you will be paying FileCatalyst for your storage because you'll be paying your cloud provider. On-premise object storage is supported as well if you have an on-premise FileCatalyst server. So you're not limited to using public clouds. You can also use private clouds. Some of our supported cloud storages are Wasabi, Backblaze B2, Amazon S3, Azure Blob, Google Cloud Storage, as well as any other S3-based cloud storage, IBM Cloud, etc. In terms of user accounts, we have the ability to enable a public access. So these are anonymous users. With the public access, a user is required to enter their first name, last name, and email, which identifies them in the system. However, they're not a registered user within the system. There is a monthly fee of $20 to enable this feature. You can have as many anonymous users as you wish, and you can also allow them to use as many public upload portals as you wish to expose to them. If you wish to support registered users in your system, there is a $10 per user per month fee. This is billed only when you add a user. Whenever you add a user, this charge gets applied to your account, and it's billed for the whole month. Every beginning of your billing cycle, we will look in the system to see how many users you have, and we'll bill you accordingly. Deleted users are not billed for the following month. So you will still get billed for that month, but the following month, any deleted users will not get billed. Users can be part of as many groups as you want within Spaces. So you can create as many groups and allow users to be part of as many of those groups as you wish based on your workflows. Some of the features that affect the cost of Spaces, as I said, we have our hot folder for automated job submissions. There is a monthly fee of $50 for this feature, and this allows you to automate file transfers into Spaces. as well as upload or automate file transfers into your personal file area or group file area. This feature is available to all users for the single monthly fee, so you don't have to pay it for each user. It's a system-wide fee. As soon as you enable it, all your users will have access to this feature if you choose to enable it on the user's profile. Again, all workflows are supported with this, so including the archive to object storage, so you can use the hot folder to archive all your on-prem data if you wish to move to object storage. And again, you can create automated processes to upload files as jobs or upload files into file area. With the API, you can integrate our technology within your own product. Again, there's a monthly fee of $50. Same concept, it's available to all users for the single monthly fee. We support a Java API for file transfers, so for file submissions into workflow are exposed via Java API, but we also have a REST API for configuring and managing spaces. Once again, all the workflows that we discussed earlier are supported with our API. Support. Spaces comes with a ticket-only basic support. You can log a ticket at support.filecatalyst.com. There is a 2 business day turnaround. If you can get your ticket sooner than that, we'll respond to it sooner than that. You do have the option to buy advanced support, and this is billed at $200 a month. With this, you get ticket, chat, and phone support. Our help desk is open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time, excluding Canadian holidays. There's a 4-hour turnaround. Again, there are some terms and conditions that do apply to the advanced support, and we can get into details with this. So, since we're officially launching Spaces today, we have decided that we'll offer a 30-day no-commitment trial, so you can try out Spaces for 30 days. All you do is just sign up, and your account will be activated with no charges for 30 days. We're offering 200 gigabytes of free data transfers if using our FileCatalyst Spaces cloud server. If you're bringing your own FileCatalyst server, there's no limit of 200 gigs. It's based on whatever your license is. The $100 setup fee, again, we mentioned that it's going to be waived during the beta period. This coupon code is not exposed anywhere else but on this webinar. So Beta Special 2019 is your coupon code. We may email all the attendees with this coupon code as well. So the fun part, the demo. John, are you ready? It's go time.
Hi, Elton. Well, Thank you for doing the introduction, Elton, and I will be presenting you a demo. So do you mind flipping over the screen? Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. So Elton didn't mention exactly how the sign-up system works, but if you go to our website, you can sign up for that demo account. Credit card information is required to spin up your 30-day free trial, but if you cancel before the 30 days are up, you will not get billed, unless, of course, you go over the 200 gig transfer limit that we give you during the first 30 days. So in this case here, I'm already signed up and registered. I already created my my instance. So I'm let's get started here by sending some. Let's start sending files. So this is I'm going to just log in as a regular user. This is a user that that Min already provisioned for me, created for me. And now I can start sending files. So first, when I log in, I can see all the previous transactions I've done, and I can see the tracking number. The tracking number is the codes that gets emailed, so the recipients can pick up the files. And I can add several other options. For example, I can add a download transmittal list. This will show me who has picked up the files. The little X means that this person has not picked up the files. A little green checkbox means that they did pick up the files. So I'm just going to, at this point here, click on New Upload. And now I have to enter the information for who I want to send the files to. So in this case here, I want to send it to this email address. If you notice, I have an autocomplete with a pop-up here. So I can import my address book, and then Spaces knows exactly all the recipients I want to send. Or if the recipient is not in the address book, it will prompt me later if I wish to add this email address to my address book. So here are the files. So the option here that in Spaces that is enabled is password protection. If I enter a password here, I must, this password is not sent with the link. So this means that this password would have to be either sent via a separate email, or you would have to call the recipient and tell them what the password is. There are other options for download. You could, if you don't set a password at all, of course, nothing will be, there will be no prompt for a password. And we also have something called automated pins. So that means system will assign a password and email it to the recipient. The last download option we have as well is two-way authentication with email authentication. So the recipient would get the link, they would click on the link, and then a separate email is sent with an authentication code that is valid only for 15 minutes to pick up the files. After the 15 minutes are up, the authentication code expires. If they want to re-access these files again, they would have to click again back on the main link that was emailed to them, and a new authentication code will be reissued. In this case here, out of the box, Spaces comes with just a password protection, which I'm not going to set here. And now I'm just going to hit upload files. So by default, the Spaces comes with a drag and drop interface. So in this case here, I can drop my files, or I can just click here on choose files to upload. So I'll just select here a couple of files, and I can send these files in such way. Now, if I'm working with files larger than 2 gigs, then I can use the transfer agent. So if I click here, this launches the transfer agents. Now, my transfer agent is already installed. The user will be prompted to install a plugin. The plugin, it does not require admin rights to be installed and executed. It runs completely in the user's desktop space. There is a plugin for Mac, Windows, and Linux that is offered here, and the inline installer prompts the user how to install it and how to use it. In this case here, I'm just going to go into, I'm going to select a few files and hit upload. So this starts my upload. You notice sends 2 files at a time. This uses acceleration. You can see here that it actually says UDP. Because the plugin can do acceleration. If you're using the regular HTML form, there's no acceleration there, but also no plugin is required. So at this point, files are sent. It shows me that demo is already in my address book, so there's nothing really I need to do here. Otherwise, it would prompt me if I want to add this email to my address book. So let's flip over now to how this would look on the receiving side. So I set up my here's my inbox, and here are the 2 files I just sent. You can see, it provides the link here. If there's a password, of course, it mentions the password and shows you the files. So if I sent this to, if I would send this to multiple, recipients, every recipient gets their own individualized link. So like this, we can recognize which recipient has downloaded the files and which one didn't. Once the link is clicked, this is what the recipient will see. Again, the plugin is not required here. If they want to use, if the user wishes to install the plugin, they can click on download and download the transfer agent plugin, which will then allow them to download multiple files all at once and use acceleration. Or if they don't want to, they have just the links here to download each file separately. So here are the files, and now I can just click on the download here and save my file. So this is how it looks like. Now file is downloaded into my downloads folder. Now if I so this is on the download side. That's how easy it is for a user to pick up the files. If the user wishes to install the plugin, then they can download the files, multiple files at a time. Now, let's log in as an administrator of the system. So this is your main overview. Once you set up Spaces, this is your main dashboard where you can see all the current transfers. You can see the last job submitted. You can see you can download, for example, your hot folder if you want to do automation, and you have all the information provided to you at a glance here. Let's go into manage your subscription. Manage your subscription will give you, of course, you can update all your subscription information. It gives you all the details as well, which option is enabled. As I mentioned, the Spaces is billed monthly and auto renews for 30 days. So there's no long-term contracts. The most you will have to do is, if you cancel, is to finish off your month, and then you're done. There's no long-term contracts or commitments. You can see how much data you've transferred so far for this period. You can see how many user accounts you have. You can as well go into your storage here, and you can see here how much storage you've used and your current cost for the month for storing this data. If you are going to be using your on-premise FileCatalyst server, you would have to cancel the storage subscription here, so you don't get billed the $10 per month. You would not get billed for the cloud storage, the minimum cloud storage payment that we bill. Okay, so now let's show you some deeper customizations you can do on Spaces. So as you can notice here, so far I had a very plain Jane template, the default template that comes with it. I'm going to show you how easy it is to customize Spaces to make it look like your own. So I went into the templates option, and by default, if you don't have any template selected, it's the default top nav that gets used. That's the default template. You can always go on help, and it gives you a full information about the different screens that you are on Spaces. So now I'm just going to make a copy of this, and I'm going to make a template here, Acme Inc. Now, because you can have multiple templates loaded and multiple groups and users, you can assign different templates to different users. So one user can have one interface, another user will have a totally different interface. So in this case here, I'm just going to set a priority pretty low because I'm just working with one. So here's my Acme Inc. Now I made a copy of the default top nav, and now I'm just going to make a few changes here. So I'm going to go to choose file. I'm going to select my logo and save. And now I'm going to set my background. So with my background, what I did is I found a background that I liked, and then I lightened it. I basically just made it a little bit more pale instead of the full color. Otherwise, I found the clash was a little too much. But this is something you can just edit on your JPEG before you upload it. And now the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set this as my default template, so everybody will get to see this this template. So let's see now what we get. So now we get my logo. I'll get the background, and then wherever I go, you can see that this template gets applied. You can see on every page this template will be visible. So let's keep on going with our customizations. So now I'm going to show you, I showed you how to do what we call the distribution job. That was the job with the email link and picking up files via email. Now I'm going to show you how to create a public online Dropbox where users can come, your customers can come and drop files for you. So I'm going to go to my fields, and I'm going to make a new field here. I'm just going to call it Acme persona. Who are you? And I'm going to make this field as a select field. So now field is added, and now I'm going to go into here and edit this list. I'm going to create two types of users, Coyote and Roadrunner. So I've made a custom field now, which is a select, it's a drop down between Coyote and Roadrunner. And now I'm going to go into my order form. I'm going to go into my ingest form. Ingest form comes already pre-shipped. You can make as many forms as you want in upload form, so every form can be different for the specific use case you're doing. In this case, ingest is already ships by default, but is disabled. So now I'm going to go here and I'm going to make this form visible to anonymous. I'm going to make sure that it's private, so nobody else to see except for anonymous users. And I'm going to go into form 1 here, and I'm going to add my persona field. Let's say I'll reorder it here a little bit, put it up. I'll make this a required field and a message as well. I have a little preview here to show me how this looks like. And I'll hit submit. So now my order form is set up. So another thing what I want to do now is that I want to, dependingly what the user selects on that field, the anonymous user selects on this field, I want the files to either end up in a specific directory for either Coyote or Roadrunner. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to overwrite my target location to be initial directory field, and the field ID was Acme Persona. And same thing for PDF, JSON, and XML files. So every time a job is submitted in an online Dropbox, you get the files, but as well you'll get an XML or a JSON file that will have all the details of what user has entered, who entered it, and when. So if you need to have these files picked up by a backend, your back office processing, you have all the information for you. So now I'm just going to hit save. So I've created my order form. I'm assigned it to anonymous users only. Next step, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into general settings here. And even though I already subscribed for anonymous public portals, I have to still enable this feature in general settings. So that's, and now we're pretty much set up for an online portal. So all I have to do is just go to public access, and there's my form. So I can now put information that the user, it's an anonymous user, so the user has to specify who they are. And now they can specify whether they are Coyote or Roadrunner. I'll pick Roadrunner, for example. And I'm going to hit upload files. Upload process is very similar, like I just described to before you in the distribution, where they can upload using this form, or they can go to the transfer agent and upload files through a transfer agent. In this case here, I'm just going to do an upload this way, and I'll hit on start upload. So once again, these files can go, these files will end up in different places dependingly what the user has selected. You will now be able to separate the uploads for, in this case, Coyote or Roadrunner. So let's see how this would look on the back end. Of course, on the back end, here I'm just going to log in as admin, but you would, if you're, let's say, running with an on-premise server, you would just see files magically appearing in a folder for you. And so if I go to my manage file transfers, here's my transfer that I just did for anonymous, and there's the get files here that I can go and pick up the files for this. So you can see here, all my files ended up in initial folder, Roadrunner, and here are my XML and PDF files. Because it's a static thing, everything gets dropped in one place. You probably want to have probably want to say also to delete files after I've picked them up, so there's no clashes here. But it just gives you an example how flexible workflow, flexible spaces can be when you upload files. Let's take a quick look here at XML here that gets generated for this job. Because this XML gets generated in the same directory, you can have it parsed by different systems. So that's the on the XML side for things. So So now let's do the next thing is how to create collaboration folders. So I'm going to log in as administrator, and now I'm going to go to my manage groups. I'm going to create a new group. I'll call it beep beep. I'm going to make a shared folder for this group. So any user that is part of group beep beep will automatically get a shared folder. I can decide which, in this case here in my demo instance, I have two FC sites created. One is the default, which is the default cloud storage server that I mentioned. The other one is the external server. So external meaning this is actually on my on-premise server. So in this case here, I just want everything going to the cloud storage. Some other options for the group members, you can set up automatic email notifications when something changes in this group. So let's say if user John uploads files to this group, everybody that is a member of this group will get an automatic emails that a new file was uploaded or a folder was created. You can decide what email notifications you want. And I'm going to go into my users here and add my user test1 to this folder. So let's see how this will look on the end user side. So I'm logged in back to the same user that we did the previous transfer, and I'm going to click on file area, and here's my group file area for beep beep. So this shows me the folder. It's empty right now. I just created it. So now I can go into here and upload some files. So let's say I'll just upload a couple of files here. And once again, if I've set up email notifications for this, all the users in the group would be automatically notified that there's new content in this group if needed. And as well as there's ability to review recent changes for this group file area. So now I have a few files here, and now if I go into review recent history changes, here's the files that I just uploaded. So by default, the system is set up to keep only the last 15 days. This is something you can change on the admin side, how long you wish to keep these files, these logs for the transfers. So the last demo I wanted to show you here is using hot folder. So I'm just going to log out here, and now I'm going to bring up my hot folder. So the way that the end users pick up can get the installed for the hot folder. It is a desktop application that needs to be installed at first. Is up here on the View Transactions, Windows, Linux, Mac. The reason this user sees it is that first of all, I subscribed for the hot folder option. Second of all, I checked on the user's profile that they are allowed hot folder, and therefore they get the installers here. So now I will go into my hot folder, and so hot folder, the way hot folder works is that you have to first create a site, which will be you will have to specify the URL for your Spaces domain. So in this case here, it's demo1.filecatalyst.com. You have to put the username and a password as which user you want to connect. You will have to specify which folder locally you wish to monitor. So in this case here, I have 3, but you can just create the one you need to monitor. And then you create a scheduler. A schedule takes the site, takes the hot folder, and decides whether it's an upload or a download. So for example, if you are uploading to file areas, so let me just go to very quickly here to FileCatalyst Workflow tab. You can specify where you want to go with this. You can go to a beep beep file area. You can go to a distribution job. If I do a distribution job, this will send out an email automatically with download links. However, this will only allow me to do uploads because that's how hot folder works. If you want to do downloads, you would have to select a specific file area that you want to send the file. So here I'll select beep beep, and I can just fire this up and transfer files. And now the files will be transferring with hot folder into my group beep beep. All the tracking of what was sent still is kept, just like I did with online, but now I can do this with hot folder. So you can imagine that you can set up a workflow where, for example, some hot folders are uploading files to a specific group folder, and then you have maybe another hot folder that monitors that entire file area and downloads everything into your local system. Hot folder is designed to really work on very large, heavy files and to transfer the files automatically. So it just runs as a service. Hot folder, however, does require admin rights to be installed. So it's really for more advanced user or for automated workflows. So that's all what I wanted to show you today. There are probably a lot more options we can talk, but at this point I'm gonna give it back to Elton, and he can finish his presentation. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, John. That was really good, very insightful. I'm hoping all our attendees will be able to see how all the workflows and understand how all the workflows can be achieved. Now let's go back to my screen here. All right. So sign up now. So as John mentioned, the sign up process is quite simple. Let's go to FileCatalyst.com/spaces. This takes you to the Spaces page. We have videos. We have a lot of information. We also have a lot of features that we described. We did cover some of them in this webinar, but there are a lot more features, as you can imagine. We do have a list of all the features within Spaces that you can, at your own time, you can peruse through them. To sign up, it's quite simple. You can click on the sign up button from the little flyout of the pricing. The sign up page, clicking the link takes you to our sign up page where you can configure what options you wish. Choose what features you want to enable, enter your customer information, the subdomain. So each instance will have its own subdomain. You can type in your subdomain. If the subdomain is available, it will allow you to type it in. If it's not, you'll get an error. Let's try demo 1. It tells you the subdomain's already been taken, but if I do demo 2, it's available. So as you're typing it in and you hit you tab out of that field, the system will tell you if the domain's available or not. You enter your credit card information and you place your order. As soon as you place your order, our system will spin up your own private instance of FileCatalyst Spaces. With that, you can you get an email with all the login details. When you log in for the first time, you'll be prompted to change a default admin username and password, and then you're off to the races. You can start creating users, start creating order forms, and start transferring files. Whether it's use your on-prem FileCatalyst server, use our cloud FileCatalyst server, you can start achieving some of the workflows that we discussed on this webinar today. So yeah, I think so. That brings us to the end of this webinar. Thank you, everyone, once again for taking the time to join us today, and have a great weekend ahead. And
thank you, Elton.
Yeah, thanks, John.